All right, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, Jonathan, you can continue to advance the slides as everyone is continuing to introduce themselves into the chat. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Jasmine Bryant. I am the Pipeline Mentoring Institute Fellow for the Student National Medical Association. As such, I oversee all K-12 and several of our pre-medical initiatives and have had the opportunity to serve in various leadership capacities throughout my time at SNMA. And so really excited for you guys to be here and to talk a little bit more about SNMA and AMEC and really to prepare you guys experience. And I'm now going to use our convention planning co-chairs as well, who will be on the call a little bit later. So we have Whitney Nichols, who is a graduating fourth year student at Quinnipiac University, Netter School of Medicine, which is in Region 7, which is our host region for the chapter, as well as Boonmi, who is a fourth year medical student at Drexel University School of Medicine as well. And so they've put in countless hours to prepare for this conference and to make sure that you guys have the best experience possible. So when you guys see them at AMEC, definitely thank them because they've been working really hard as well as with the entire programming team, the entire convention planning team to make sure that this conference is a success. And so you'll get to hear a little bit more from Whitney a little bit later. And now I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Jonathan, our pre-medical board member, to
All right,
introduce.
hey y'all. My name, again, as Jasmine just mentioned, my name is Jonathan Truxillo. I am a humanities honors candidate at the University of Texas at Austin. In terms of some of my previous involvement within the organization, I've been mostly on the National Maps Committee as well as involved within my local Maps chapter at UT Austin. Again, I serve as the National Pre-Medical Board Member and Chair of the Maps Committee, overseeing all of our pre-medical programming within the organization of the SNMA. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the presentation. Thank you all so much for making it today. And in terms of national leadership, okay, here you go, Jasmine.
Yeah, if we have any of our national leadership on the call who'd like to introduce themselves or give some words of advice for AMEC, you guys can feel free to do so as well. And if not, we'll definitely leave some time for the end for some that are coming on. So I did want to talk a little bit about AMEC, like what is AMEC? So AMEC is the annual medical education conference, and it's planned and executed by the SNMA to bring together underrepresented medical and pre-medical students, as well as K-12 students, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. It has a ton of programming and workshops focused on the needs of both pre-medical and medical students, and provides a unique opportunity to network with minority students and physicians, as well as other pre-medical and medical students as well. So it's a wonderful opportunity that brings all of these groups together for really, really wonderful experience. So as you all know, AMEC 2023 is taking place in Hartford, Connecticut from April 5th through the 9th. And our theme this year is Brilliance, Elevating the Mission and Revitalizing Our Purpose. And I can definitely say, as a part of the programming team, we've really stuck true to that theme. There's been a lot of really exciting programming developed for this year's conference and programming that hasn't existed in years before. So we're really, really excited for you guys to come to Hartford and really experience SNMA at its finest. Next slide, please. And so, like I said, our 59th annual medical education conference will be taking place at Hartford. And these are just some of the conference hotels we'll talk a little bit more about. As you guys probably know, there are very many conference hotels this year because Hartford's a smaller city. So definitely be mindful of which hotel that you booked your rooms for, because there's a lot of hotels in the general Hartford area that attendees will be staying at. And so with regards to registration deadlines, we are in late registration. Just a little note from headquarters, if you have not registered yet or know someone who has not registered yet, they need to register before arriving to the conference on site. And so if you are still interested in going to AMEC and would still like to register, please visit the attendee webpage on our website and also just to learn more about the conference and what's offered and all the things you're able to take advantage of. And so I know a lot of you guys have had questions about the schedule. The preliminary schedule has been released on the website. Um, it's under the general AMEC part of the website, the at a glance preliminary schedule. And so there's lots of different topics to be addressed, and Jonathan has the preliminary schedule pulled up on his screen. So as you guys can see, there is a ton of programming planned for a variety of different workshop tracks. And we'll talk a little bit more about those tracks briefly, but lots of different programming. The pipelines programming is also in there as well at the end. So definitely looking forward to engaging with you all as chapters and chapter leadership to learn more about the Pipeline Mentoring Institute and how your chapters can get involved with starting pipeline programs for K-12 and pre-medical students in your local community. So we're really, really excited about the fully fleshed out pipeline track this year. Next slide, Jonathan. And so one thing to note is that most programming will be taking place in the Connecticut Convention Center, which is adjacent to the Marriott. And so really excited about all the programming that's going to take place there. And you can go to the next slide, Jonathan. And then some of the other programming that's going to be taking place during AMEC will happen in the Hartford Marriott downtown, which is our conference headquarters hotel. And Jonathan, you can go through the next few slides with the hotels on it, just in brief. So there's a lot of conference hotels this year, including the Hartford Marriott downtown, the Hampton Inn and Suites, the Residence Inn Marriott, the Hilton Hartford, the Goodwin Hotel, Hilton Garden Inn Glastonbury, the Marriott Hartford and the Residence Inn at Hartford Windsor, the Hyatt House, the Hilton Garden Inn Hartford North Bradley International Airport, as well as a few other conference hotels, such as the Homewood Suites Hilton, which I think was added pretty recently. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of conference hotels this year for AMEC. So please carefully review the name and address of your hotel, as there are many, many conference hotels, some that are that are in downtown Hartford, some that are across the bridge in East Hartford, some in Windsor, some in Glastonbury. So please be careful and definitely double and triple check what hotel that you booked at. And if you have any questions or want any more information about hotel accommodations, please visit the website for AMEC hotels on our SNMA website.
And then one more thing to also add regarding the hotels. I know that we are like splattered all across Hartford, but there will be shuttle services taking everyone from the hotels to the convention center every day. So that information will be released within the coming weeks. But that is something to also be aware of whenever you're planning ahead and making sure that you are that you basically know the shuttle schedule, so you'll be at the convention site in time for the different programming that you might want to attend at each day during each day.
Can I ask a quick question about the shuttles?
We're going to defer that to our convention planning coordinator when she gets on the call, because she'll have more information about that and kind of all of the questions you guys are going to have about AMEC. There'll be a question and answer session towards the end. And also, with regards to air travel, if you haven't booked your flight and you are flying, please do so ASAP. SNMA did partner with Delta for a discount on airfare. So for more information and the discount code, please visit the website as well. And depending on where you are flying out of, some of those discount codes may have been used up already for the time and the flight that you want. So definitely, if you haven't booked yet, please book ASAP because we want to be able to, have you come to AMEC using the Delta discount if you're going to fly Delta. And especially since we're about 2.5 weeks to AMEC. So definitely, if you haven't booked yet, please do so. And also, I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan and talk a little bit about transportation and
Okay, now we all know AMEC might be a little expensive, but if you are looking to also save some of your coins whenever you're in Hartford, there is a shuttle service that will transit that will be able to take you from the airport directly to the conference hotel if you are planning to stay at the Hartford Marriott You can feel free to see if there are additional services at your respective hotels throughout your stay there. But if that is something that will help on costs from transportation from the airport to your hotel, that might be an additional option. I believe they do. They only take cash, so that is something to keep in mind. But the fare is still relatively cheap. I think it depending on like how you use it, it might range from $1.25 to $3.25. But if you do want to save and not spend that $20 on an Uber, that is another option to for you all to take part of. Did someone say something? Okay. And then Jasmine. She's out there. Okay, I guess in terms of some other options for transportation throughout the city, there are rental cars that you can also purchase or utilize ride shares such as Uber or Lyft.
You're muted, Jonathan.
Oops, my bad. Okay, so did y'all hear the last slide?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so in terms of this slide, other options for transportation include like rental car services, ride shares such as Uber or Lyft, taxi. If you want to be fancy, you can do a limousine or also utilize public transportation, whether that be the Connecticut Transit or the Hartford Line train service. There is more information that is available utilizing this Bradley Airport link that will give you more information, but you can also call your hotel for different directions and guidance on how to best get to and from different places within the area.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the weather so you guys are prepared for the climate up in Hartford. So according to the Weather Channel, this is the forecast from April 5th through the 9th. So as you guys can see, it's still going to be pretty cold in the 50s throughout that week. And you can also go to the next slide. There's another weather forecast from AccuWeather, which is slightly different, but still cold. So definitely be mindful of that. Bring your winter coats, bring your jackets, bring warm clothing, because it's still going to be pretty cold in Hartford when you guys arrive. And another thing is definitely watch the forecast the days leading up, because you never know how it's going to shift in those days. So definitely be mindful of the weather as you guys are preparing for AMEC. And so I wanted to talk briefly about the conference track. So as you guys can see, there is a lot of programming tracks that you guys can take advantage of, including the general track, which is applicable to everyone at the conference, where there's a medical student track, a pre-medical forum for our pre-medical students, fourth year and beyond for those who are preparing for fourth year or might be in their fourth year, maybe you're applying for residency. There's also a health policy and advocacy forum, as well as a physician research initiative for those of you guys who are maybe physician scientists or interested in doing research in your career. There's also a pipeline, which I'm excited about, which will be for our K-12 students on Saturday via the Black Males in Medicine Summit, as well as for chapter leadership on Thursday and Friday for you guys to learn more about the Pipeline Mentoring Institute and how your chapters can get started with starting their own programs, as well as hear from chapters that have done excellent programming throughout the year. There's also a wellness track and then a skills track where you're able to get hands-on clinical skills experience with different things. So really excited about all of the programming tracks that are available at AMEC. And a note that these tracks are generally open. So if you're a pre-medical student, you want to learn more about the medical student track or learning about the medical student programming, you can go to a workshop in the medical student track. Or maybe you're interested in health policy as a pre-medical student, you can go to those tracks. These tracks are generally open to everyone. If there is any closed programming, it will be indicated in the program that it's by invitation only or for certain audiences. But again, really excited for all of the wonderful programming that's going to take place at AMEC. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan to talk a bit about the pre-medical forum track.
Okay, perfect. In terms of our pre-medical forum track, again, this is intended specifically for those our pre-medical students and those that will be applying for medical school within either the upcoming application cycle or just thinking long-term ahead. But in terms of some of the things to look forward to, we will be having our medical forum recruitment fair that will be placed in the exhibit hall. We have over 100 medical schools that will be present. Knowing which schools will be present will be released either in the coming weeks with the program booklet. In terms of some of the things to look out for within the schedule, we have a few workshops, but the rest will be actually located in the program book, which you can all take a glance at that I pulled up previously. But some of the workshops that we do have included are, such as the Inside of the Mind of an Admissions Officer, where we have a panel from different medical schools across, within Hartford as well as across the country. We have navigating your medical network and really understanding how to network within different professional spaces, why choosing a historically Black medical education program, and also highlighting the work that we do within the organization as well, including the clinical shadowing and mentorship program led by our Kaiser Fellow. And some of the other things to also keep note of, our MAPS opening plenary will be an introduction into the pre-medical forum following the opening ceremony of the actual conference. We will be having our pre-medical luncheon with our speaker, Dr. Marshala Lee, as well as being able to recognize our upcoming graduates and incoming medical school matriculants. We will have different one-on-one sessions available to anyone that is looking for that one-on-one support, such as MCAT advising with different learning specialists, having your personal statement and application reviewed by different medical students and physicians, as well as having the opportunity to get feedback and have a mock interview to really prepare yourself for the upcoming application cycle. And those links will be sent out pretty much this week, and you will have the opportunity to sign up. It will be on a first come, first served basis, but that more information should be to come via your email. So be sure to look out on your emails this upcoming weeks, especially as we approach the conference date. And then in terms of some of the top 10 highlights to look forward to at AMEC, we're just going to go over some of the really amazing programming that we do have this year. So in terms of community service this year, we will have 2 projects focusing on those experiencing housing instability, which we're essentially providing different bags and essentials for those experiencing housing instability, as well as hosting a health fair for those within the local community. Has been information posted through the Opportunities newsletter, and then there should also be more information coming out within AMEC specific programming. But again, students have the opportunity not only to have your professional development and enrichment programs, but also really helping out the community that we are really residing in. And we are impactful more within numbers. So utilizing these conference spaces to make sure that we also are contributing to our mission. Again, you'll have the opportunity to really get more information on the application process and getting more advice from medical schools that will be in attendance, as well as different residency programs. So having those application preparation services available to everyone. Having the opportunity to present your research. Pre-medical students and medical students can present during the Dr. Wilbert C. Jordan Student Research Forum and compete to win top poster presentation awards and prizes, which will be presented also during the BOD banquet. Winners will be announced in the BOD banquet. But this is really starting to develop your science acumen and building your research portfolio for medical school as well as residency. The emails for who will be presenting and who will be presenting should have already gone out. If you do have any questions regarding that, you can email diversity@snma.org. Regarding tours, we will have the opportunity to also tour the different medical schools within the Hartford area, Hartford and Connecticut area. It's a great way to really explore the school's facilities and learn about the resources that a school has to offer. This year, we will be touring the University of Connecticut School of Medicine, as well as Yale University School of Medicine. Those sign-up links, again, will be sent out this upcoming week. And then also, again, how we mentioned before, really preparing for your interview trails and preparing to get feedback from current medical students, admissions officers, as well as physicians. So always be on the lookout for that. Another thing is really, SMA is a networking hub. I already see y'all in the little AMEC 2023 group chat, really focusing on meeting different people from across the country. We do not have the opportunity to really network with so many people that want you to succeed in these spaces. But you will have the opportunity to really meet different SNMA and MAPS members within your region, speak with people from around the country, speak with leadership, as well as people from different chapters, and exchange ideas about how to even run your chapter more effectively if you are within chapter leadership. Again, having the opportunity to hear amazing words from our inspirational keynote speakers, you really get to become more clinically excellent coach.
You're on mute.
Nah, I keep getting
You're
on mute.
muted.
Okay. I don't know how I keep getting on mute. Okay. Did y'all hear anything on the last slide, or did I get on mute on this slide?
This slide.
Okay, thank y'all. Again, listening to really our inspirational keynote speakers and really getting motivated to become clinically excellent, culturally competent, and socially conscious physicians, and really listening to the inspiring stories of a diverse group of people, whether that be through the opening ceremonies, our plenaries, our board of directors banquets, as well as our pre-medical luncheon. Regarding leadership development, you can really strengthen your leadership skills by attending regional meetings, your chapter leadership transition meetings, as well as the annual National Leadership Academy. I believe the application has already gone over for the Leadership Academy, but this is really where you get to learn about different leadership opportunities and really learn how to get more involved within the SNMA and really start to capitalize on those skills. Again, finding mentors, this is really a network. This is a really crucial space for you to all to network and speak with different medical students, admissions officers, physicians, residency program directors, and really explore different career paths and learn how to become a competitive applicant. I know several current medical students and also physicians that have got amazing opportunities from the exhibit hall, from engaging with different residency programs, getting their rotation sites, specifically from the people that they were able to meet, getting different interviews and application support from people that they were able to meet within the exhibit hall. So you're really utilizing that space to make the most and getting the impact that you all deserve. And then lastly, still talking on the pre-medical forum workshops and recruitment fair, you have the opportunity to attend a variety of workshops designed to really make you a competitive applicant or a residency program applicant, and speak directly with people within these programs and in institutions that you're interested in, and really getting that one-on-one face-to-face contact. And then I'm actually going to let Whitney hop on the SMA Programming Hub. This is a new opportunity that we are doing this year.
Hey y'all, sorry about the delay. My name's Whitney. Thank you, Jasmine and Jonathan, for the introduction. I just want to make a small plug to all my fourth years who matched. I matched yesterday, so shout out to y'all, and can't wait to connect with y'all at AMEC. So basically, the feedback that we've gotten over the years is that SNMA people come, they network with the schools, but there are not a lot of opportunities to network with each other. Someone also told me that SNMA or AMEC is for gunners. If you're not in medical school, you know a gunner. A gunner is somebody who is always studying. They're always telling people that what they're doing, and it wasn't really a collegial or family environment. So what we did is we said, okay, we don't want that. We want to have opportunities for you all to have breaks from all the programming and all the networking and all the exhibit fairs. And so the programming hubs really are just that. They are opportunities for you to meet with other students who may relate within the title, as well as there are going to be opportunities for faculty to come in. No one's going to be pushing their school to you. No one's going to be really pushing their specialty. It's just going to be an opportunity for you to meet up with other students of color, other mentors of color, for you to have opportunities to really engage with them, to really be plugged in. I went to my first AMEC back in 2012, and the relationships that I made during that are really why I'm matching, or why I matched last week. And so, or yesterday, sorry, y'all, it's been a long week. But with that said, like, I think the programming hubs really are going to just be a great opportunity for y'all. We want to get feedback because we wanted to implement this now so that hopefully we can continue this. But just again, another opportunity for you really just to really make relationships while at AMEC, especially if you all don't have people that look like you at the schools that you're in that are either pre-med or medical students.
All right, thank you, Whitney. And then in terms of some of the additional highlights that we will have at AMEC, again, are not only is AMEC focused on really making sure that y'all are preparing for medical to become a physician. AMEC is also where we conduct our official business within the organization. We're hosting our annual House of Delegates meeting. Our HOD is the supreme governing body of the International Medical Association and transacts the business, overall day-to-day business of the organization, and electing our new national leadership. So we will be having different elections. So you will have more information within the schedule where you will have the opportunity to meet the different candidates, ask questions. Somebody talking. Okay. Again, also being able to transition your chapters and attend different transition meetings, have your personal statement applications reviewed, engage with the SMA's podcast, The Lounge. We will be having a special feature from them throughout the time at AMEC, attending different specialty interest groups. We'll have wellness activities, really having your opportunity to engage and network and eat during the breakfasts, luncheons, and as well as receptions. Having interactive clinical skill workshops, again, presenting your research during the Dr. Wilbert C. Jordan Research Forum. The white coat ceremony, I know y'all saw like the earlier picture in the presentation where all of our fourth year, I can't remember if it was all of the fourth years or all of our medical students were taking a picture with their white coats and seeing all of the magic black and brown excellence throughout the conference, as well as having the opportunity to showcase our graduating fourth years, as well as our national leadership during the BOD banquet, and seeing who will be elected to serve in this amazing role that we have on the board of directors for the next year. Again, the AMEC programming hubs, and then so much more that we have in store for everyone. And then I will have it off to Jasmine for the rest.
Awesome. So I know some people had questions when they were registering for this event about how to get the most out of AMEC. So I did want to talk about some sort of key points to remember with the conference. So first is definitely review the preliminary schedule that's posted on the website beforehand and plan on what sessions you're going to attend and when. Some of that programming will be maybe rescheduled or reshuffled, but definitely look at the current preliminary schedule to figure out what you want to go to. And a pro tip is to schedule the programming you want to attend by putting it in your phone's calendar so that you have updates and reminders hour to hour of where you're supposed to be, so that you don't forget any of the program that you really want to attend. Also, find your community. SNMA is a huge community, and the AMEC conference is also a very huge experience. There's a lot of people sequestered in one area. And so definitely attend programming with your classmates if you're going with your institution, or find students who came alone and link up. I have been to AMEC both with classmates as well as by myself, and I can say I've never felt by myself at any of the AMECs that I've gone to. SMA is definitely a community, so even if you came there alone, there's somebody else there who's alone, or there's a chapter that's going to take you under their wing. So definitely don't feel any fear about that. And another kind of pro tip is to attend the regional meetings and go to AMEC programming hubs to network with your peers, because at those regional meetings, you'll meet people within your region, and you can start to form some of those organic connections with people who are in the region of SNMA that you're in. So those are just some tips. And then you can go to the next slide, Jonathan. Also, dress appropriate to the occasion. This is a professional conference, so I know some people had questions about attire. So just remember that different events will require slightly different attire, so keep that in mind while packing for your trip. This is a professional conference, so definitely bring your suits, bring your nice professional dresses, bring your nice shoes, as if you were going on an interview, basically. While introducing yourself, give eye contact, a firm handshake, and a warm smile. There's nothing to be intimidated about. Everyone there at AMEC is there to help you from the standpoint of pre-medical students, the medical students, the admissions officers for our medical students, the program directors, and residency programs. Everyone is there to support you. So definitely don't feel shy or any fear about that. Definitely, if you have them available, bring your resumes, your business cards, and if you have anything with your school insignia on it, that's another way to start connections with people, especially again, if you came there alone, or if this is your first experience. And usually there'll be somebody who went to your same institution who will see you and stop you and start a conversation with you. So that's another way to start to form connections and network with people there. Again, as well as if you have business cards, definitely bring them. You might be able to actually put in an order with the next 2.5 weeks, just depending on where you are. Maybe you do that locally. And also get business cards of the exhibitors there. So those that are at the information sessions, those who are at the workshops that have their business cards, residency program. There's always a bunch of information, a bunch of like bags or insignia and things like that that people end up taking back from the conference. So definitely leave room in your suitcase, but there's always information about the medical school, about the residency program. So definitely leave room for some of those things as well. Next slide, Jonathan. Also, follow up with the contacts you made after the conference. It's great to come and network, but if you don't follow up, then you haven't actually formed a network. So definitely, networking is about relationship building first and foremost. So establish connections with those contacts soon after the conference, within 1 to 2 weeks. A lot of people feel really motivated right after the conference. So maybe on your flight home or on the drive home, start to set out those emails or start to set up those emails then, because that's when you're going to be the most motivated to do so. And then finally, just remember to have fun, but also remember that this is a professional event. So medical schools and residency programs will be at the conference all throughout the conference. So make sure you enjoy yourself, but be aware of the environment that you're in, because you don't want to make a poor impression upon yourself before these programs and admissions people actually get a chance to get to know you. So those are kind of my 2 cents. Jonathan and Whitney, any other ideas or any other pieces of advice for students to get out of AMEC, especially for our first timers who are going to be attending?
So I can tell you guys, so I attended my first one as a pre-med student. So I would say hit the exhibitor hall. Honestly, there are going to be program directors that are going to be there or Dean of Admissions, sorry. Dean of Admissions are going to be there for the pre-med conference. You just never know when you walk up who you're going to meet. I met the dean of my medical school back then. And then when it came to interviews, he remembered that and remembered that I was a part of SNMA. And that for me was the connection I needed to really help me make that, to get into medical school. For my third years who are looking at away rotations for as it pertains to specialties that they're interested in or trying to figure out, what do you want to do? Go to the exhibit hall for medicine as well. There are going to be a lot of away opportunities. I mean, really, AMEC really is the premier place where all schools are fighting to be able to talk to you guys, to be able to recruit you guys to come to your school, because their SNMA carries a brand with it. And then just by you being a part, they want you. This is their major recruitment, as well as some of the other things they do off of the side, but this is what they fight to be in. And so I would say, just don't be afraid to go up to somebody, tell them who your name is, tell them what you're interested in, because when it comes down to it, they will 100% remember that. Because as they said, it is really about connections. Your test scores and all of that can only do but so much, but your classmates who are not here and your classmates who may not look like you wish they could have an opportunity to talk to these program directors the way that you are. And so I just want you guys to feel confident going in there, because y'all are the prize, not these programs. And I can't emphasize that enough to y'all.
Say it again, Whitney, y'all the prize. But just to add one small thing to the exhibitor hall, I think with the exhibitor hall for professional booths are open all Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then for pre-med it'll be open on Friday and Saturday. With those, there's also specific time that is in the schedule where it'll just be like unopposed exhibit time. I think that's when mostly everyone in the conference is being compact in that the area at the small time. I think you also want to be able to utilize the times where you're not required to attend the exhibit fair to make sure that you also have that time to connect with the admissions officers and program directors one-on-one. But I think that was my only other addition to the slide.
Awesome. And again, for more information on how to get the most out of AMEC, we put a link in, which you guys will get access to the slides, but of how to network at a conference. I think there were some really good tips in there about how to form your networks, because yes, AMEC is about networking, but it's also about learning about your specific track. So if you're a pre-medical student, you're learning how to become a competitive applicant to medical school. If you're a medical student, you're learning how to become a competitive applicant to your residency programs, things about the MCAT and Step 1 and Comlinks. There's so much programming at AMEC. So definitely get the networking in, but also take advantage of all of the other parts of the conference schedule as well. And you can go to the next slide, Jonathan. So before you go, I'm going to actually pass this off to Whitney as our convention planning co-chair, for her to talk about some things straight from our headquarters that they want you guys to keep in mind during the conference.
Okay, so So this is the no fun slide. So basically what it is that the convention center is a huge place. And so there are going to be people coming in and out at any given point in time. And we want to make sure that the folks who have access to you all and the folks that have access to our conference are supposed to be there. And so with that, we're just going to ask you guys to just keep up with your badge, because your badge is really going to be able to give you access once to the exhibitor hall and then access to the programs as well. And so it's going to come on a lanyard. Just keep the lanyard on you. You're going to need the badges to also attend some of all of our plated meals that's going to happen. So if you're a medical student, it's going to be our president's lunch, as well as our board of directors banquet. And then if you are that's for medical students. For pre-medical students, Jonathan already talked about his pre-med luncheon forum. And then you're also going to have access to the BOD banquet as well. If you do lose your badge, you are going to have to pay the $25 badge replacement fee. We don't want that to happen. It's just that we print everything before so that we keep the cost low. And so we have to print on site. That goes by the convention center's price, not necessarily ours. So that's kind of like the no fun part. Literally just y'all really seriously keep the lanyard on. I'm not gonna talk about nightlife because that's kind of separate, but you don't need your badge for nightlife. Don't bring it out. Keep it in your room, keep it on you for when you're in the convention center or the Marriott. So as Jasmine and Jonathan already said, so we really want to get you registered ahead of time, because again, we do print these badges ahead of time. And so we won't be able to do on-site registration. And so we are within the late registration period. So if you haven't got your ticket yet and you plan on coming, please do. With your ticket, you're going to get at least 2 plated meals. These are going to be 3 to 4 course meals, which will be part of our banquets or either our luncheons. And we will have other opportunities for our sponsored receptions. Again, we have schools who came and wanted to do extra to be able to meet you guys and to be able to network with you all. And so with those, they will also have either heavy hors d'oeuvres or other meals that you can go, and that's optional. That happens normally in the afternoon. If you guys have any family or friends who want to come, especially for our fourth years who want to kind of have their family see them as they do the graduation ceremony, you can purchase additional tickets, especially for our board of directors banquet, and that will be on the website. You just have to do that ahead of time so that we can get to make sure that we have food for them, but also a way to be able to register them so that they can enter. And so if you guys have any questions about that, or we need to purchase questions, please just email member.info@snma.org. And then they will, Lakia will get back to you guys. I might as well just keep going at this point. So bring your white coats. As they said, this white coat picture was epic. We didn't even get everybody because it was just so many people. So if you're a medical student, bring your white coat. If you're a pre-med student, feel free to come and just watch all the greatness. This really is what we're doing this for. And that is, they called it the MD promised land when I was trying to get here. And so that it really is an encouraging moment for you all to see. And it won't be the only opportunity. There will be a lot of photography happening. You all can do your own and then tag us. And so don't worry, we will find multiple avenues to make sure that you're represented in some way if you feel comfortable doing that. So I got a question. Can you wear your lab coat as a pre-med? I think no. There will be opportunities for pre-med students to take pictures, but this white coat ceremony, the white coat picture really is for those in medical school. So you will get there. Again, just verify the hotel. There are at least 2 Marriotts. I think there's a Marriott downtown that's attached to the convention center. There's another Marriott a little farther away. Just make sure that when you look, you know exactly where you're going, confirm the city and location, and then also just check in with your hotel as well to make sure to see if they have a shuttle that goes from the airport directly to you. It's another way for you to save money. And then also you guys may find out that multiple people will get there at the same time. And so we always have shared ride shares and kind of made it easy that way so that you're not just paying by yourself to go back and forth. Bet. Okay, so graduation ceremony and the board of directors banquet, just want to emphasize that the doors are going to open at 5:30 for this. Our board of directors banquet, when we talked about professional attire is throughout the entire time of the banquet. However, the board of directors banquet is more so, I would kind of say black tie, or at least formal. Most people have gowns on, or either ties or suits or tuxes, you would say. So it really is like our black affairs, black tie, like we're about to set it off on them type of event. The doors are going to close at 6. I am telling you guys this because this is included in your registration for this meal. It is going to be a 3 or 4 course meal. So you want to make sure that you get there, because if we close the doors and you're not in there, we don't want that. We will reopen them, but it'll be after the procession is completed. It'll be late. Your food will be just sitting there. You don't want that. And so I just encourage everybody to get there on time. We're stopping programming at 3:30 on that day with all the different hotels to make sure that everybody gets there who's supposed to be there and who wants to be there to be able to participate. There will be no exceptions. So again, y'all, please make this easy on us. We don't want anybody to not feel like they can attend or not be there. We will close the doors at 6 p.m. Okay, Jasmine, you
Okay,
want to keep going? Okay, bet. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take over the frequently asked questions, because I know some students are still considering going to AMEC or had questions about what AMEC is and what it is. So we'll go through these pretty quickly. So when is AMEC held annually? It is planned for the week preceding Easter. So if you're thinking about going to next year's, which will be our 60th, definitely look ahead and see when that will be. I believe that's like March 31st is when Easter is going to be next year. So that's something to keep in mind in the next several years if you're thinking about going to AMEC after this year. Next slide, please. Can I attend AMEC? So this is a question that we've gotten a lot from our pre-medical students, because there is some misconception that AMEC is just for medical students, and that is not true. AMEC is open to everyone, including medical students, pre-medical students, advisors, physicians, etc. It is not an exclusive event, and it is open to all. So if you know of any pre-medical students who may be interested in coming to AMEC, definitely let them know. There's been some misconception amongst even pre-medical advisors that AMEC is not for pre-medical students, and that is not true. There is a pre-medical forum planned just for you guys. So that's definitely something. If you're considering AMEC, especially as a pre-medical student, and you want to go and you're not going this year, definitely keep that in mind. There's definitely programming for you. The next question is, next slide, please. Are attendees only allowed to attend their specified track? So we talked about this a little bit earlier. So attendees can go to different sessions in different tracks unless it's otherwise specified, and that'll be in the conference handbook. So for example, if you're a non-traditional pre-med, you may be familiar with the content of the workshops geared towards students in the pre-medical forum. So you can attend sessions in the medical student track, health policy track, general track. The tracks are open to you guys, again, unless there is a specified invite only or just for this audience. So that's something you definitely can take advantage of at the conference as well. Do I have to be a current national dues paying member to attend? This sometimes changes year to year. I've seen it in years where we've allowed both members and non-members to register, but it is more expensive for non-members to register for AMEC. And so that's why there's a strong suggestion in some years requirement for people to be registered as members so that they get the discount on registration plus other benefits that come along with your SNMA membership. And what is appropriate conference attire? We talked about this a little bit before, but this is a professional conference, so you should be wearing business professional or business casual, top and bottom. A really good rule of thumb that I heard with regards to the conference is that if it would be appropriate to wear to work or places of worship, then it most likely will be appropriate for the conference. So keep that in mind throughout the day of the conferences. Again, different events are going to require slightly different attire for the most part, but do keep in mind that this is a professional event. You're talking with medical students and medical school admissions. You're talking to program directors at residency programs. So do keep that in mind throughout the entire conference. And then wanted to talk a little bit about business casual versus business formal. Again, you'll have a little bit, I think, of leeway during the conference. You might not want to wear a 2 or 3 piece suit every single day, but definitely make sure that it's appropriate for a business atmosphere. And again, you guys will get access to the slides so you guys can kind of see the differences. But generally speaking, like during the day, you're not going to be wearing jeans. Sometimes, especially I've seen with MAPS chapters, they might have khakis and like a polo or a shirt from their institution. That's appropriate as well. But again, you want to present your best self throughout the conference. So definitely keep that in mind throughout. Next slide, please. And also, we got questions about this too. The appropriate attire for luncheons in the board of directors banquet, and Whitney hit on this earlier. For luncheons, those are usually professional dress, or sometimes Sunday's best. Again, it just depends. But for the BOD banquet, it is the most formal event of the conference. So women will usually dress in formal wear, a lot of floor length gowns or jumpsuits, or semi-formal attire. And then men will usually dress in a nice suit. I know when I've gone to the AMEC, I haven't seen too many men in tuxedos, but that would definitely be formal attire if you wanted to wear that. But usually the men will wear a pretty nice suit on that last night of the conference, as that serves as sort of the formal closing of the conference. So those are some things to keep in mind as you guys are getting ready to pack for the occasion. And I see a question, is a BOD banquet for fourth year medical students only? So no, the BOD banquet is for everyone. That banquet is open to everyone. There is a president's luncheon for our medical students, and then there's the pre-medical forum luncheon for the pre-medical students. So there's luncheons for, depending on what level you're at, training level, so pre-med or medical student. The BOD banquet, that is for everyone. And you guys will also get access to all of those tickets based on your registration. So if you are a pre-medical student, you'll get access to the pre-medical forum luncheon as well as to the BOD banquet. If you're a medical student, you'll get a ticket for the president's luncheon and the BOD banquet. So definitely all of those things will be in your registration like bundle or bag when you come to sign in for registration at AMEC. So keep those things in mind. And then just some words about semi-formal and formal attire, sort of in a picture again. It is the most formal event, the board of directors banquet of the entire conference. So a lot of floor length gowns, a lot of jumpsuits, some cocktail wear. It really just depends, but it is a very, very nice occasion. So keep that in mind when you're preparing for the BOD banquet. Jonathan, Whitney, any words to say with regards to attire, the banquet, or anything like that that you guys want to add?
Yeah,
Great.
I think the only thing I would add is just what Beverly mentioned earlier in the comments is to bring comfortable shoes. That goes for both men and women, because I think even last year, I think with me wearing those dress shoes, it was cuffing the back of my Achilles tendon. So that's something to also keep in mind. Just make sure that your shoes are pretty comfortable and that you can walk in them throughout the day.
Yeah, I would also say too, like if you want to wear like heels and maybe you don't have the best feet for heels, definitely bring some flats that are applicable that you might want to slide in or slide out of. I would say throughout the conference, because you're going to be on your feet, especially during the recruitment fairs, and you don't want your feet to hurt and that kind of prevent you from going place to place. So definitely look nice, look professional, but also be comfortable throughout the conference as well. Next slide, please. And so I wanted to acknowledge Obi, who was the Region 4 MAPS liaison when we were both in regional leadership together, for helping to create this presentation that we actually first did with our MAPS students for them to learn a little bit more about AMEC and what they have to take advantage of. And so this is the third year we've done the AMEC Informational. And so really excited to walk you guys through what AMEC is going to be. And you can go to the next slide, Jonathan. We also have all of the SNMA social media and website information here, as well as the MAP social media, which is on the next slide. And then there's also our contact information with regards to our emails. So you can just quickly go through those slides, Jonathan. So yes, there's a contact information for convention planning, as well as MAPS. So if you have any questions about the pre-medical forum, you can definitely reach out to Jonathan at premedical@snma.org, or Logan, who is the Vice Chair of Programmatic Affairs, at her email here. And we'll actually leave this slide up for a second for you guys to write it down. And we'll send this information out to the slides as well as the recording to our marketing team so that they can send it to all of the attendees who weren't able to attend today. And then if you guys have any questions about this presentation, or if you guys have any questions about the pipeline track for our K-12 students, you can reach out to me at pmi@snma.org, or Tiana Clemens, who is our PMI programming coordinator. And if there's any general SNMA inquiries, especially with regards to the conference, email at member.info@snma.org. For all of those, or convention planning for some of those as well, even though I will say, as we get closer to the conference, there is a lot going on. There's a lot of final logistics things happening, so please be patient with us as a convention planning team in the next few days as we're trying to wrap up and get some things ready and set for Hartford. And next slide, please. And then for more information about AMEC, definitely check out our website at the AMEC 2023 webpage. You should also be checking your email frequently for the opportunities newsletter and information related to the conference, because there's going to be a lot of conference related information released in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So please do keep a lookout for that, and definitely check your emails regularly for more information, especially about some of the events that require sign up. You're going to want to definitely be checking your emails because those are first come, first serve. And if you haven't registered yet, register ASAP, because again, as we mentioned before, there won't be any on-site registration this year. And so if you are interested and would like to register, go to our AMEC 2023 page to register. So now I know you guys have a lot of questions about the conference, as indicated when you registered for this informational meeting. So how do you guys want to do this? We can definitely look in the chat. I can't really see the chat from my vantage point. So if you guys want to scroll up and see any questions that students may have, we can start answering some of those. As well as if you're able, you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and we'll try our best to answer your questions as well.
Hi, I have a question. Y'all mentioned the weather there. For folks who aren't, so my name is Adonis Grissom from Rocky Vista here in Colorado. But from people who are coming from locations that aren't used to 50-degree weather and that's cold for them, is there going to be a coat check at the convention center for people to like wear their coats and not be lugging around a winter coat all day?
Thank you so much for the question. So we're definitely working on that aspect. The convention center is aware, and our coordinator is making sure that there's something to be able to provide that. Because again, we don't want you guys walking around with coats all day. And so that will come out in the official email. I just don't want to misspeak and tell you yes without knowing, but it is something that we definitely know that it's going to be a headache, and we're working to adjust for that.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions that you guys see in the chat? I know I see a bunch of them, but I can't really actually see them.
Hello, I actually have a question.
Yes.
So good afternoon. My name is Hasya Ahmedamidola. I'm a 4th year at Ross University. So when you guys were speaking about kind of looking over, just getting ready in regards to the how do I word this? The residency fairs and stuff. When do you think that like there would be like a preliminary list of the residency programs that are going to be attending?
So it's 100% our goal to get that as soon as possible. We're shooting for next week. Again, I know that you guys want to see it so that you can know where places to hit, as well as how to map out your schedule. And so I know that the delay, we apologize that the delay is probably holding you up. So we're looking at next week. If not, I'll send an email out personally to let you all know, or at least drop it in the group chat when it does come out. So if you're not in the group chat right now, please join, because that way we'll give you guys information that way. And then when we release the app, that'll be another opportunity for you to ask questions, but also engage with the programming booklet.
Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Beverly. This is a comment, not a question. For those who are bringing posters to the conference, please bring a poster container. You can get a variety of different types. This is important. So when I was flying out, luckily I ran into one of our med students, and she was rolling up her poster and wasn't sure how she was going to bring it on a plane. So I just plopped hers inside my container. And so we had to link up throughout the conference for her to get her poster and then for her to bring it back home. You don't want a crumpled up poster. You might have to check your poster. So you want to put it in a safe container. I cannot emphasize enough that you want to bring a poster holder.
To follow up on that comment, Ms. Beverly, where can people purchase a poster container?
Mine is old because I'm old, but sometimes wherever you print, they might be able to put it in a a large container, and it's like it looks like a toilet paper holder. So it's like cardboard, and then it closes at the top. Otherwise, Google or Amazon poster containers, mine has a slink holder, so it can go over my shoulder. And it doesn't always fit in the overhead compartment. That's why you might have to check it. So just be mindful of that. So wherever you print, see if they have a poster holder. Look on Amazon, Google, find your poster holder. Anywhere their printing happens, they should possibly have a poster container. So just, you got to look at that and try to get that as soon as possible.
Any other questions? And if you haven't had your question answered in the chat, you can definitely unmute yourself and ask, because it's a little bit difficult from our end to sort of see the chat as well. So are there any other questions about any other aspects of the conference?
Hi, yes, this is Chinwe. Actually, I joined as an exhibitor and I work with this device company. So I wanted to ask if there's any opportunity for potential collaboration, and we are trying to run like some little test and we'll have compensation. I don't know if that's a possibility to do that in conference.
Hi, so I sent the link in the website. So the best way for you to get engaged with us and to have access is going through our website. And I put the link in. You'll go to contact us and you can put information in that way. But that's normally the best way, and our headquarters staff and our leadership will parse through and be able to tell you what, yes, this can work, or how we can make it work.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked, will we need to bring IDs to the conference center? I would recommend always bring your ID, because you will need that for the airport, but I don't think we'll need it for check-in, if I'm not mistaken.
So like nobody's gonna be walking around carding you and saying, oh, look at this ID. We're literally just looking for the badge. And so you don't necessarily have to bring your ID. You shouldn't need it for the registration table either. You just tell them your name and you get checked in that way. But kind of like Jonathan said, you'll need it for the airport, which I'm sure everyone knows that, but don't feel like you're gonna get carded everywhere you go. Just bring your badge.
Hi, my name is April Barrett and I'm a gap year student. I saw that there was a study hall portion on the conference itinerary thingy. Are you guys allotting like a space for people to study, or like why does it stay like study hall up there?
So we know that a lot of students are coming to AMEC, and that does not mean that medical school stops or pre-med activity stop. What that literally is just a quiet section to be able to get away from all the things that are happening. Will be open 24 hours. There'll be internet in there for you to be able to use that. It is just a separate space. And so you don't feel like you can use it if you want to. If you don't want to, it's not a mandatory thing, but we just wanted to offer a quiet space outside of a room or a hotel room in case anyone needed to be able to have that to do what they need to do.
Okay, so will that be at the convention center or?
So I think the room is probably at the Marriott. Again, the convention center and Marriott are literally buddies. They're less than 10 feet away from each other. And so if anything that's in either, you can just walk. It'll be a short walk outside 10 feet, and then you'll be at the other one. So I think it's in the Marriott. Sorry to answer your question.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me? My name is Joy.
Hmm?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hi, my name is Joy. I'm a senior here at Williams College, and I was just wondering if we booked a hotel in like the hotel site that's in the AMEC, the AMEC website, will there be shuttles from that if it's not the hotel that's nearby the convention center?
So more information about the shuttles are coming out. So all the shuttles that we put on our website, all hotels that we put on our website, we will have shuttles going to and from them. And so that is what I know for right now. But that in the email that we send out, it'll have every hotel listed. It'll also have the schedule of all the shuttles, so that and that should be coming out hopefully next week. And so that will be ironed out so you all can plan around how you're moving. So I'm sorry, that's not the definitive answer you're probably looking for, but that's what I can tell you for sure right now.
Thank you so much.
Hi, hello. My name is Anita. I'm a postbac student, and I came in pretty late, so it's sorry if you guys already answered these questions. But can somebody drop the group me link again? I think I heard something about that. And also, where will I be able to find the recording for this meeting?
Great question. So the group me just got dropped. Thank you for that. And then the recording, we're looking to either drop it via email to all registrants or to put it on our website so that you all can have access to all the information that was shared here.
Great, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question. Will we be allowed to break down the tables for the expedition halls a little bit sooner than what's on the schedule, or no?
Can you actually send that question to convention@snma.org, and then I can forward that to the proper parties?
That's no problem. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone asked, will we get our badges at the registration table? Yes. And I think someone else asked, how do you get involved within either regional or national leadership? One thing within at AMEC is our leadership turns over. So those that are in different leadership roles within the board of directors, as well as our regional board of directors, we have our elections during AMEC. This is where you will start to see more opportunities to get involved. We have over 14, I think we have 14 national committees that you are going to be able to join because they will be recruiting as those committees are starting to form, as well as different leadership internship programs that you'll have the opportunity to get engaged with as those applications start to open. It'll be helpful to become an SMA national member to have access to those opportunities and knowing when those applications start to open. But usually that process does start like almost after AMEC.
Sorry, I think I got another question about nightlife. So I don't want to say this. So nightlife is technically its own separate thing from AMEC. Everybody knows we come for nightlife. I'm on the recording, so I have to behave. So within saying that, if you want to know more information about nightlife, check out the group me. There's stuff put in there for good or for bad. The group me is going to keep you up to date for right now, but especially about things that are happening. There is something happening every day of the conference after dark. I will say that. Hopefully everybody else reads in between the lines. If not, hopefully somebody will help me in the group me to really say what it is. But yes, there will be plenty of things for you guys to do after the fact. If you haven't looked at the skeleton guide, on Thursday, we're having a karaoke. That's free to everybody. That's part of official planning. And so it is basically our version of trap karaoke. We have prizes, and gift cards, I think $300, $200, and $100 for people who win. It's going to be based on crowd participation. And so opportunity for you to basically pay for your AMEC registration if you come. I probably shouldn't advertise it that way, but that's how I looked at it. It's an opportunity for you to get connected with other people as well, especially because that'll be the event that'll be free for everyone to go to, and it'll be a nice little gathering event. So you don't have to be 21 to be able to attend the karaoke.
I see a couple of questions too about Rachel said, I'm looking at the schedule and I see that some events are invite only. Who and when will get invites?
Sure. So the major invite only ones are those that have signed up. So the medical school tours will be by sign up only, the mock interview and personal statement review, and then the one-on-one academic sessions will all be sign up only. So that sign up will come out next week. There are things that are for like some of the excellency lunches. So I think a breakfast that is invite only. And then the President's Council, it's for people, for all the past presidents of SNMA. And so those are kind of the niche groups in that. And so if most things are open to everyone, but AMEC is also an opportunity for some of our past leadership to also connect. And so it'll be for all of our presidents who've been who come back to AMEC and kind of so on and so forth. So not everything at AMEC is just invite only. I would say the minority of things, we have over 200 workshops. I would say of those 200, maybe five or six are invite only. All the rest of them are open for anybody. So I have one more question. I'm a first year medical student. Should I still email pre-medical SNMA? I'll shoot that to you, Jonathan. I will say that if you are a first year or incoming first year medical student, you can attend the med track. We made sure this year to have activities for every single person who's going to walk in through the door. So if you're in post-bac, there'll be sessions for you. If you are in undergrad currently on the pre-med track, there'll be sessions for you. If you're taking a gap year, there'll be sessions for you. If you are an incoming first year medical student, there are sessions for you. If you are in your preclinical years, there are sessions for you. If you are a third year and you're thinking about away rotations, how are you going to do fourth year? Again, sessions for you. If you are a fourth year and you didn't match, there'll be sessions for you on a fourth year and beyond track. If you're a fourth year who did match and you're thinking about fellowship, thinking about how to engage with your program, hopefully your program is there, but also the fourth year and beyond track will also help you engage that way. And there'll be programs for you to get adjusted to residency, how to move, how to really do what you need to do, because there will be a plethora of residents there. And there will be also quite a few of our attendings who will be able to help guide and mentor you, as well as if you have financial questions about how are you going to repay your loans, how are you going to what are you gonna do with your first check? How are you gonna help your family out? All of those questions should hopefully be answered during AMEC, because we have programs to be able to take care of those. And yes, the only workshops that require pre-registration are the invite only ones. That's correct. Everything else, once you register, you have access to everything else.
I think with regards to I think there's a question about where to get started with leadership. I would actually email your regional director, depending on what region you're in, because each region has regional opportunities. There are some regions that have already had their regional elections, and there are some that are having them at AMEC. I would say most regions, from my understanding, are doing their elections at AMEC. Region 4, today they're doing the second part of their election. So it really depends on what region you are in. So definitely email your regional director. I think it's regional, whatever number region you are, director at snma.org. Then there's the regional executive board positions. Then there's also a program called the Regional Alliance for Leadership and Development, or RALD program. So if you're interested in leadership in SMA, that's a wonderful way to get started. With your respective regions. There's usually 2 interns chosen per region, 1 medical student, 1 pre-medical student. There's also another program, which we didn't really talk about, but is a huge program in SMA called the National Future Leadership Project, or NFLP. I believe they will be doing some things at AMEC as well, but that is a wonderful opportunity if you're interested really in any leadership with SNMA, especially national leadership. I've done NFLP program and I absolutely love it. Suggest it to everyone. And every year they usually select 10 pre-medical students and 10 medical students as fellows. So if you're interested in getting involved in national leadership, definitely check out the programming that they're going to have. I know that the NFLP co-directors will be there as well, so you can ask them questions with regards to those leadership opportunities. Usually for national committees, they'll have an application going out for different opportunities on their particular committees and boards. So that'll usually be released in the months after AMEC as the new board transitions. And so there's a lot of leadership opportunities in SNMA. Speaking for Pipeline Mentoring Institute, we will be having applications open pretty soon for those who want to be involved with the pipeline, and especially with K-12. So you'll hear about that. And the MAPS committee, they have applications that will go out too. So there's a ton of leadership opportunities available at SMA that you'll hear a lot about at the conference, and also different programs like, which we mentioned briefly, but like the Clinical Shadowing and Mentorship Program, or CSMP. For our pre-medical students, there's also opportunities for medical students to serve as mentors. So tons and tons and tons of opportunities to get involved with SMA, both on the regional level and on the national level. And I think we have another question from Grace.
Yeah, thank you so much for that overview. I was wondering, I think I'm actually a first year medical student. I was wondering if you guys could kind of go over like some of the committees, like some people might not be interested in exactly like, being the next like chair or regional director for something, but getting involved with like the national committees. And specifically, I had a question regarding the MAPS committee, because I know at my school we have the position of being a MAPS liaison, and I was wondering, are med students able, or med students who are SNMA members, is it possible to also join the MAPS committee to help with some of that programming? And I don't know if you can answer that, but those are my questions.
Come on over. Yeah, I'm like, yes, there are opportunities for literally everyone to be a part of any national committee. We again, to touch over some of the committees that we have, I can try to pull up the website to really show the different committees that we have. It ranges from all over the place. All over. We have academic affairs, community service, commission planning, diversity research, external affairs, finance, elections, but I think elections is mostly for internal leadership. The health policy and legislative affairs, internal affairs, international affairs. They actually just went on a medical mission trip earlier, I think in December. MAPS committee, membership, osteopathic, and publications. In terms of, you can find more information on each respective committee going over their different pages. But within the MAPS committee specifically, we are spread everywhere in this organization. So there are definite opportunities, whether that be focusing on our regions and really supporting our local chapters, forming those relationships with them, as well as even our programmatic affairs, really making sure that our pre-medical students across the entire nation are really prepared for medical school. We host different webinars throughout the year. You can also follow us on social media to see some of the work that we've done across different administrations. We have the Post-Bac Initiative, which has been launched last year under our past pre-medical board member, that really has like chapter-like programming for students that may not identify with within like the traditional kind of student that goes from like fourth year undergrad to straight to medical school. So we have a wide range of different initiatives and programs and projects to get involved with. And that is open to from our pre-medical students all the way through our medical students. As long as you want to serve, we are here to also really support that. And then, are there any other questions?
Oh, follow up just to that. Can you be a part of two committees?
Yeah, I would say it depends. I would say that might be a personal question on what depends on like what roles that you want, because there are different roles that may require a lot of work versus some that may require just a little bit of like just help, like hands-on, like having everyone hands on deck. So it is definitely possible to be a part of multiple committees, depending on like what leadership aspect you're interested in. That may be also a personal thing to make sure that you also are being a student too.
Yeah, and I'll chime in briefly too. Like, there's a lot of us in SMA leadership that are like in multiple roles. Like, I've seen people who are in like 2-3 different capacities, which I think can be great, but you have to really, I think, consider your time. Because like Jonathan was saying, like there's some positions where it's like it would be very difficult to take on another position, especially if you are like a co-chair of a national committee. That's quite a deal of work. So being a co-chair for an entire national committee and then perhaps doing something else in SNMA would probably not be very ideal. For the pre-medical board member, they do quite a bit of work because they're not only the pre-medical board member, but they're also the chair of the National MAPS Committee, and they're responsible for everything MAPS. So as you can imagine, that is a very weighty position. Or convention planning is responsible for executing the entire conference. They take on such a huge responsibility. And like I said, when you guys see them, definitely thank them. There's been so much work that they have to put in for this conference. And so you wouldn't want to be in convention planning and be in literally anything else in SNMA because it's incredibly time consuming. You know, in my role, I oversee all of our K-12 programming. So that's busy in and of itself. And then also some of our programs that you might have seen, such as the Virtual Brotherhood Alliance for Science and Education program, which is under PMI, as well as our HPrep program for high school students and our Virtual Pipeline Academy for our high school students as well. So as you can see, like all three of our roles are very, very heavy and very, very weighty. You would not want to be in another position in doing the positions that we do. But there are some other positions that it might be feasible. So for example, maybe your academic affairs under MAPS and maybe you're a co-director of NFLP or something like that. But a lot of that will be I think, up to your personal discretion, like Jonathan said, but just make sure that you realistically have time to devote to those positions, because these positions are resume builders, but you are going to be doing a lot of work to build your resume, if that makes sense. So keep those things in mind when you're thinking about different positions you might be interested in, because they do take quite a deal of work. And obviously making sure that you're doing really well in school too, because you don't want your grades to be sacrificed for any of your extracurricular activities. So those are some things I would keep in mind. And also, again, I think different roles, maybe a vice chair in one role and maybe a committee member and another one might be feasible. So definitely, and then talk to people, because I know usually in years past, people who are like on the board of directors, their position will be on their name tag. So if you have questions about different committees, definitely go up to them and ask them those questions. They'll be more than happy to talk to you about getting into national and regional leadership. Any other questions?
I just have one more follow-up question to that, because I was personally a non-trad med student. I really want to help give back to kind of that post-bac population. So I was wondering if those initiatives, I know SNMA has the bi-monthly post-bac initiative programming, is helping out with that initiative a part of the MAPS committee? It was just a question I had.
Yeah, so that will fall under our post-baccalaureate student coordinators that we have on the National Maps Committee. The application for that will be released at least maybe late May, early summer months. But yeah, that's definitely part of the Maps Committee that we try to put on every bi-weekly, essentially every first and third Wednesday of the month. And really within that role, we have done a lot. Really, Beverly can speak to how she has been instrumental in really developing this program as well. But we've had different sessions throughout the year. We've also had an MCAT group, so making sure that they have someone to actually study with whenever they're studying for the MCAT. But yeah, I think overall, you can also email me at premedical@SNMA for more information. We wrapped up some of the programming for this year, and it'll restart up again under the next administration after AMEC. I added my email into the chat.
Any other questions before we wrap up today's session? If not, you guys can definitely reach out to us via email. Again, we'll be in coordination with our national headquarters to make sure that these slides and the recording get out. But we're really, really excited you guys were able to come here, and we're really, really excited to see you guys at AMEC. One thing I always tell people about AMEC is that it's truly an electrifying experience. That's the best way for me to really put it, for someone who's been able to go, I think, 5 times in person and 1 time virtually. And I will never forget the first AMEC that I went to. It was just such a positive feeling, especially I think for our medical students and our pre-medical students who might be not feeling as motivated or may have been discouraged by advisors or their institutions. It is definitely a great pick-me-up to kind of give you the motivation and I think really the information and guidance that you need to be successful. So definitely take advantage of the conference, but we're so excited to see you guys in Hartford during AMEC. This is going to be a wonderful conference. So if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us, and we look forward to seeing you on April 6th and 5th and 6th for the conference. And with that said, we
Thank you
will
so
see you
much, Jonathan.
guys later. Thank you guys so much for being here, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can't wait to meet you all. Thank you.
Well, that was good. Thank y'all. Bye. And thank y'all for having the session. It was really great.